Sambahang Rizal is a religious group in the Philippines that follows the teachings and principles inspired by Jose Rizal. This group venerates Rizal not just a nationalist hero, but also a spiritual figure incorporating his ideals into their religious practices. The group emphasizes Rizal's values of social justice, patriotism, and moral integrity. Members of this group often see Rizal as a prophet or spiritual guide and may hold services and rituals that reflect his teachings and philosophies. Their practices and beliefs can vary, but they generally focus on Rizal's vision of a just and enlightened society.
Sambahang Rizal or Rizal Church was founded by Basilio Aramen, a lawyer from Quiapo, Nueva Ecija, established Sambahang Rizal in 1981. Aramen held the title Pangulo Guro or Chief Preacher, signifying his authority within the group. The group had about 7,000 followers in Nueva Ecija and Pangasinan, demonstrating its influence in those regions. Aramen was able to attract followers with his claim that Sambahang Rizal was established to honor Rizal, who was sent by Bathala to redeem the Filipino race like Jesus Christ, who offered his life to save mankind. Aramen's group believes that Rizal is the son of Bathala, in the same way that Jesus Christ is the son of God. Lola Mitangere and El Filibusterismo serve as their Bible that shows the doctrines and teachings of Rizal. Sambahang Rizal is a compiling example of how religious movements can emerge from cultural and historical contexts, incorporating existing beliefs and practices while offering unique interpretations and perspectives.
Sambahang Rizal is one of the several Rizalistic groups that emerged in the Philippines. This group believed that Rizal was sent by Bathala. Bathala is a Filipino term for God, which means to redeem the Filipino race. This group also conducts sacraments like baptism, confirmation, marriage, and then ceremonies. The Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo serves as their Bible. Then some of the churches of Sambahang Rizal group can be found in Mount Banahaw. This sacred mountain in the Philippines is home to many Rizalist groups, including Sambahang Rizal. It's considered a holy site where spiritual pilgrimage and rituals are conducted by followers. It can also be found in Quezon Province. The province, particularly around Mount Banahaw, has several chapels and temples dedicated to Rizal, where worshippers come to pay homage and take part in religious and patriotic rituals. It can also be found in Laguna. As Rizal birthplace, Laguna has become a significant center for Rizalista movements, including Sambahang Rizal, with churches and temples devoted to the hero.
The altar of Sambahang Rizal is a controversial monument erected in 2019 in the town of Rizal, Nueva Ecija. It is dedicated to Jose Rizal, the national hero of the Philippines, and features a statue of him with a crucifix behind him. This has sparked debate and criticism from various groups, particularly those who see it as a form of syncretism or religious mixing. Many people believe that placing a crucifix behind Rizal's statue implies that he is being presented as a religious figure. This is seen as disrespectful to Rizal's secular legacy and may offend people of other faiths. Rizal was known for his rationalism and advocacy for secularism. He was a critic of the Catholic Church, particularly enrolled in suppressing Filipino culture and identity. This makes the placement of a crucifix even more controversial. The altar of Sambahang Rizal remains a point of contention in the Philippines. The debate highlights the complex relationship between religion, culture, and national identity in the country.
Sambahang Rizal celebration. It is similar to the Catholic Church. The Sambahang Rizal conducts sacraments like baptism, confirmation, marriage, and ceremonies for the dead. It assigns preachers like Lalawigan Guru who are expected to preach Rizal's teachings in a different province. Aramen, the founder, held the title Pangulo Guru. The Rizalistas group Sambahang Rizal has its unique practices for baptisms and marriage, reflecting its belief in traditions. Baptism process. Families prepare for baptism through discussions about its spiritual significance. Ceremony. The baptism is typically performed by a leader or elder involving water and prayers, symbolizing spiritual rebirth. Community involvement. The community often participate in the requirements necessary documents are gathered, such as identification and, in some cases, a marriage license. Ritual ceremony, the wedding includes specific prayers and rituals that align with Rizalista's belief, emphasizing commitment to God and community. This process highlight the group's focus on spiritual growth and community ties.
Here are some beliefs of Sambahang Rizal. First is they view Jose Rizal as a messiah or divine figure. Some sects believe that Jose Rizal was more than just a national hero and view him as a spiritual leader, prophet, or even the reincarnation of Christ. This belief is often tied to the idea that Rizal's martyrdom and teachings would lead to the salvation of Filipinos. Next is syncretism. Rizalist groups typically combine elements of Catholicism with Filipino indigenous spirituality and folk traditions. For example, they may observe Christian rites like the Mass but also have their own rituals that venerate Rizal as a saint or divine being. Next is the nationalism as spiritual duty. These groups hold that Filipino independence and national identity are sacred missions. This belief aligns with Rizal's teachings on reform, self-determination, and opposition to colonialism. Next is the belief in the second coming of Rizal. Some Rizalist groups anticipate the second coming of Jose Rizal, believing that he will return to lead the Filipino people to a new age of freedom and prosperity. Last is the unity and brotherhood. Many groups emphasize the importance of community, brotherhood, and upliftment of the Filipino people. They see Rizal as unifying figure whose teachings call for the moral and spiritual regeneration of the nation. Here are some practices of Sambahang Rizal. Next is the veneration of Jose Rizal. Members of Sambahang Rizal often hold special rituals and prayers dedicated to Rizal, similar to how Catholic saints are venerated. Altars with images or statues of Rizal are common in their homes and places of worship. Next is the commemorating significant dates in Rizal's life. Key dates such as Rizal's birth and his death are celebrated with religious observances, parades, and ceremonies. These are treated as holidays within their communities. Next is reading and studying Rizal's works. These works of Rizal, particularly his novels No Limitangere and El Filibusterismo, are studied not just as political texts but as scriptural and moral guides. His letters and poems may also be treated with reverence akin to religious texts. Next is conducting masses and services. In some groups, religious services are led by priests or ministers who may wear ceremonial clothing that blends traditional Filipino garments with religious symbols. This service may include sermons on Rizal's teachings, prayers, and hymns honoring him. Next is the baptisms, weddings, and funerals. Like other religious groups, they hold baptismal rites, wedding ceremonies, and funeral services, sometimes incorporating unique symbols or rituals that reflect their veneration of Rizal. Last is social action and charity. In line with Rizal's teachings on service to the nation, many groups engage in social work and community service, focusing on education, poverty alleviation, and healthcare.